I honestly have no idea if this microphone is even working, and we'll just figure it out as we go. Okay? Right now, I'm just playing with stuff. Okay? So, here we go. Welcome to Sheena's mind games, mind reframes, and all that jazz, lessons 101. And this is the third time I've had to do this video with malfunction after malfunction after malfunction. Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to come on here and I wanted to share things that I myself personally, me, myself, and I, you know, all three of us, we have used to be able to get to where we are in life. Like it's just my mind likes to work a little bit differently. So, and I'm not saying I'm like special or anything like that. This is just, I've noticed with some people that have pointed that out. So, I mean, I might as well share what I know. Okay? Because I want to help other people get out of the situations that they're in. And I want to share what I know. Because, I mean, if it helps one person or two people, then great. I'm sharing my knowledge because I don't believe that knowledge should be coveted. I think it should be shared. And so, um, just like how, in toxic families and in toxic workplaces, those that have all this knowledge and skills, they will covet it and not share that knowledge because of the fact that they don't want, because they have this lack mindset of where they feel like if they share that knowledge, then they won't get to keep their job. Like it's, I've seen it multiple times in the workplace, but also like in family dynamics as well. So, whatever. Um, First and foremost, now I'll tell you about it. I'm gonna write it on the board and then I'm gonna, you know, move on. I don't know how many we're doing, but we'll find out, won't we? Okay. First one is become the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm. Okay. Become the eye of the storm is a concept of being so still and rooted in who you are and what you know and how you feel that nothing else can affect you. So think of how tornadoes are, right? I've never been in one and I don't ever want to be in one. Have we had one here in Salt Lake before? Yes. I've been through a few tornado warnings back in Texas in basic training. Okay, great. I don't ever want to experience one, but I've seen the movie Twister and I'm going to go based off of that, as well as the fact that I used to love watching Storm Chasers or whatever that name was, where they would go out and they would like chase storms and record it, and that's wild. But the main point is that in a tornado, the eye of the storm is like still. There's nothing happening. There's chaos going on all around it. And it's like everything is happening all around it, but nothing is happening inside. It is dead still. It is quiet. It is like just, it's there. And that's what you want to be able to be, even when there is chaos happening all around you. When there is all this stuff going on that you can't control, it's having a sense of calm and stillness within yourself. And it's going to take practice because it's going to be something that you have to overcome all of these triggers and let them go. And when I say overcome, I mean like you're not going to beat them into submission. You have to heal them. You have to work through them. You have to understand them. You have to integrate them. You have to work with your shadow and all this. Yes, it sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's really not. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do that could be a lot, but they really aren't. It's the perceived idea of how it looks in our head or how it sounds because we don't understand it. So, become the eye of the storm is the concept of where nothing gets you out of that. Abraham Hicks, talks about it in, I don't remember what she calls it, but it's that where you're in a set vibrational state. So become the eye of the storm. It is, people are going to try and knock you out of like your rotation, and there are going to be things that like trigger you or upset you or whatever. And it's learning to just deal with it in the moment and then let it go and not carry it with you, not take it home with you, not, vent about it 20 years down the road for like every single day, you know, that it's not about that. It's about not caring that it actually ever happened in the first place, being grateful for it and it's done and over with. So become the eye of the storm. That's number one. Number two is always find the loophole. Always find the loophole. Now, this is something that I did not realize that I was good at because I really could be a lawyer. I just don't want to. There's so much corruption in the lawyer field that it's kind of sad. But always find the loophole. This is something that if you come from a criminal family, thank you. If you come from a criminal family and they have taught you all about how to be a criminal and how to hide it and how to like, get away with things and manipulation and all that dark psychology stuff, you have to understand that finding the loophole is something that they're really good at. Why do you think why do you think so many crime bosses and stuff like that are so good at what they're doing? Is because they always are thinking of like loopholes and ways around it and stuff like that. It's like, it's always trying to find that way to reframe it and to make it so that, okay, for example, let me go ahead and give you one that I came up with today. Okay. So I have struggled with the mere fact of how I have a very messy family. And when I say messy family, I mean like we're talking like redneck, inbred, ghetto, white trash, like all of these things that are considered to be derogatory, right? Because that's how we've turned it into is like, oh, you're, trailer trash. Like, not everybody that lives in a trailer is trash, okay? Like, we have just made certain terms derogatory. Ghetto, it's considered to be very beneath us. It's like low standards and stuff like that. So, um, why I bring that up is because of the fact that, um, families that have uh, had incest or where family members that have raped other family members or parents that have done that to their own children, that's stuff that is like very well, one, disgusting. Thank you guys. I know. But it's also one of those things that like you see yourself as less than in society. Like it creates this mental block that you are, you know, less than others, that people that don't have that, that never had that, are better than you. And you kind of like will put people on pedestals in that concept because they weren't treated that way, or they didn't have that kind of lifestyle growing up. And so, like, even in relationships, whenever people that have had very tumultuous and rough childhoods will, have a resentment in a way towards someone that they're dating because they have a good family, or good, I mean, because you never really know all the details, but for the most part, have a good family. Like if you see someone that have a loving mother and a loving father, and they didn't have like chaos and, all of that stuff going on in their lives, they look at those people and they, feel less than. So I swear this is gotta there's a point to my crazy in finding the loophole. Now, that's where you can have very difficult blocks in your worth and your abundance because of those beliefs, those, negative terms that we have put in our heads. Now, think about it in this way. This is where the loophole comes in. Okay. So, because of the fact that kings and queens and royalty back then were very much inbred, right? Because they wanted to keep the blood pure and everything like that. So many times they were all inbred, and cousins and whatever. Like the only time that they really ever like they started marrying in other countries just for like, contracts and stuff like that. It wasn't for love or anything of that sort. They were all mostly arranged marriages for, land and, building connections and whatever it may be. Like it varies. But more or less, there was a lot of that going on back then. Right. Right. Not right, but, you know, right. It did happen. So if those people, and we're gonna like discount the fact that how they got their money. Okay, we're not going down that road. This is like don't overthink it. Okay, you overthink it, then you kind of like lose the loophole. Okay, the loophole is not a hole anymore. It's kind of like open. But okay, because of the fact that those guys had all this money and were absolutely wealthy and were like they got gold, they got jewels, they got like crowns and all of this, like all of it. Okay, because they have that, and they're like that, why can't you? Why can't you be? They were accepted. Everybody kind of just looked the other way. I mean, okay, but they were still considered high class and royal and all of this stuff. So why can't you be? So in my mind, because of the past that I have had with my family, and because of the fact that um I'm just gonna call it messy because it's just a nicer way of putting it. Freaking crazy, like absolutely disgustingly nuts. Like, I mean, okay, you know, whatever. But because of my messy family, I personally classify as royalty. I mean, I am royalty, right? Because I fit right in. My kids and I, we are wealthy and we are royalty. And we are part of like I mean we're like the Rockefellers, you know? Not in the corrupt way though. Like not in that way. We're not corrupt like them. But we're better. We're better. We share our wealth within each other, much like how the Rockefellers do it. Something I learned in that aspect of the fact that the Rockefellers, like, they have their own banking system within the family. And so loans or like purchases and stuff like that. They borrow from each other. And very much do we do that with my family, with my kids and I, because I don't take all of their money. They help. I pay the majority of the bills. And my kids, my two teenage daughters, they have jobs that they help contribute to the cell phone bill. Um, so they're part of the cell phone bill, to um, they're part of the car insurance, and then they put gas in the car. They sometimes provide a little bit for food. They'll give a little bit more from their paycheck to help with the food, um, whatever it may be, that kind of stuff. But I pay the vast majority of it. Okay. So if one does not have enough money for something, the other, I or the other daughter, will help them purchase it. And then they pay us back gradually with no interest. So, like I said, we're the better Rockefellers. We are royalty and we are wealthy. And that's in my mind. That's in my mind. That's where the loophole comes into play, is the fact that you have to be able to find that little thing, the thing that is a negative, and turn it into a positive. You got to do some alchemy. You got to actually find a way to change something into something else. And so that's where finding the loophole. And you're not always going to find it right away. You're going to have to like toy with it a little bit, because this one took me today. Like I was like, oh, well, hello. Because like after learning more, I got more memories back. I needed to find a way to reframe things with how messy things were. So this was one of the ways. And it's one of those things that you can do it with everything. You can find it in anything and everything. You just got to be a really good lawyer. Okay, the third one, which this kind of like segues into it, is um to what was it? It was be delulu. Okay, you'll hear that from a lot of people. You'll be delusional, but start at delusional and work your way up to crazy. I kind of have already been up at crazy, because like I have ideas. I know where the image that is in my head that I'm working towards, it's happening. Slowly but surely, it's happening. Okay. So like when I say this, like be delulu and work your way up to crazy. So let me put that on the board. Okay. So I was talking to my daughter this morning about this, about what is the difference between delusional and crazy. They kind of fall under the same category in what they are, and thinking like that something's going to happen that is kind of like outside of what your norm is, or like what you can achieve, or whatever it may be. Like it's kind of like trying to date someone that is way out of your league, that you think is out of your league, but nobody's ever really out of your league. And like, going for that job that you really want, but you don't think you're going to get, or, starting a business that is something that you have been wanting to do, and you're not even sure like where to even start. Other things, you know, uh, creating that multi-million-dollar company, and making a difference in healing the world, whatever it may be, whatever it may be. So I'm right on track, just so you know. Everything is coming together. But The difference between Delulu and crazy is that crazy is where like there is no chance it's going to happen. Like there is no belief whatsoever that it could happen. Crazy is like the Wright brothers when they were like, "Hey, we're going to make something that can fly." And they're like, "Say what now?" Like, "Do we need to put you in a padded room?" That's the level of crazy like I'm talking about. Like you want to be that crazy. Like my ideas, my plans, they be crazy. They be crazy. But it doesn't mean that they can't happen. Just FYI, if nobody else can see your vision, it does not mean that it is wrong. It does not mean that it can't happen. You're just hanging around the wrong people. Because if people are putting you down for those ideas, those thoughts, those beliefs, then why are you still with them? Just sorry, tangent, soapbox. Let's get down. Okay, let's go back. So now with Delulu, people that say you're delusional are usually people that see that it's a possibility, but they think it's out of your league. Like they're just like, you know, you're so delusional. Like there's a chance, but I don't think you're gonna get it. That's where delusional kind of falls under. So sometimes you got to start at Delulu. Okay. I've kind of been sitting up here and crazy for a while, and this falls under the law of assumption, really and truly, like the spiritual laws. The law of assumption, you are delusional and crazy enough to believe that it's going to work. Like, you know, you just know. Like, there's no doubt, there's no disbelief. It's gonna happen. You have no idea when, and you don't know how, but whatever, it's gonna happen. Like it's already here. So that one right there, you got to be in those states to be able to really like keep that vibrational, like to be in the vortex. That's how Abraham Hicks puts it, is to stay in the vortex for things to come to you. You have to stay a vibrational match as to what you are trying to achieve for it to happen. Now, you have to realize that my crazy ideas, I'm not exactly the vibrational match of what those crazy ideas are just yet, but I'm working on them to be able to be at that. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you my crazy ideas because I've already talked enough about my crazy ideas that I'm just going to show people. They're just going to see it happen. Okay. So, but the Delulu one, here, case and example. Okay. And this goes also with the finding the loophole. Okay. Which is how it kind of like, and then like being the eye of the storm, you have to just stay at that set point. Like that's where being in the vortex also, falls in. But so here's an example. I'm going to be famous. I already know it. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind. Do I know what I'm going to be famous for? Whatever. It's not going to be for serial killing. That's all. I know that one. Duh. But I'm going to be famous. Okay. How do I know? Well, because right now I'm already giving out autographs. Believe it or not, I give out autographs. They may be to FedEx and UPS whenever they ask for my autograph or for tires whenever they get delivered. But I'm still giving out my autograph. Okay. I'm still signing my autograph on the paperwork for when certain parts get delivered. But I'm still signing my autograph. I'm still practicing my autograph. Now, I sound delusional, don't I? I sound absolutely delusional. But it's not far off, right? That loophole right there, you're like, well, yeah, technically, like technicality there. Actually, sorry, my kids are gonna cringe on that one. And I do it just to annoy them. So on that one, I am technically signing my autograph on those forms. So I really am becoming famous because they are asking for my autograph. So these things are the ways to trick your mind into understanding that that's what you are. That's who you are. So it's kind of having to become it before you actually become it. Okay? Which that also, segues into um the next one. Okay. So I think there might be 5. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. The next one. So this is where the be delulu and crazy. Now, this is where you have to say that whenever you come up to like changing your frequency, like whenever you are stepping into a new identity, when you are starting to become a better or newer version of yourself, there's going to be resistance. Okay. There's going to be resistance. And so you're going to have these moments where you're going to have tests. Let's put them that way. Okay. Like they're moments where you're going to be tested to see if you really want this or if you're going to go back to the old version. Like you have 2 options, 2 choices, 2 roads to go down. Which road do you choose? Okay. So for this one, you have to keep it in your mind that I pass every spiritual test. I pass every spiritual test. Okay. Oh, I forgot that I paused it, so uno momento. Okay, we're back. And now we're back. Okay, so here it is. I pass every spiritual test, period. Okay. Why is that so important? Well, because if you doubt in any way, sort, or form, then it cuts off your ability to stay in the eye of the storm. It's all interconnected. So if you don't think that you can pass that spiritual test, then you're going to kind of have to like start back at square one again. But this is where we have the loophole. I know, right? It's so much fun. Yes, this is the stuff that goes on in my head every single day. Welcome to my crazy. Okay, so always find the loophole in the I passed every spiritual test, period. What if, Sheena, I don't know, like I'm not very good at taking tests. What if I fail like all of my tests? Well, guess what? I have a loophole for you. Guess what? Not all tests are final. You're going to get another chance. That test is going to come right back around. That's where we have those karmic loops. What? I know, crazy, right? When we don't pass the test, it's going to come back around continuously until we do pass that test. Because, God is so wonderful, and our spiritual crew, our team, they are just so kind to us. They really want us to win. They want us to pass the test. So they will keep giving us the same test until we pass it, until we learn, all of the answers, and then we answer it correctly, and then we can move on to the next lesson. Because there's a lot of lessons. I mean, depending on how many you signed up for, and some have a lot and some have little. It's not a competition. It's all just your, you know, your spiritual tests, your spiritual, evolution, more or less. So when you have that, I pass every spiritual test, period, you may not pass it the first time. Guess what? It took me so long for me to learn how to speak up for myself. It took me so long to learn how to actually decide. Like, first, I had to learn how to speak up for myself, which I went way overboard and I started, like being very aggressive and, not assertive, but very aggressive. I used to be very um, passive, not even passive aggressive. I was just passive. So I started out passive, and then I went up to passive aggressive, and then I went into aggressive, and then I was able to find my way to assertive. These are all the speaking styles. There's 4. Just heads up on that for you guys. But because of the fact that I had to practice, I constantly had situations, I had lessons that kept popping up, that kept coming up, that were lessons in the same single concept that I had to overcome. And I had to keep reminding myself that I pass every spiritual test, period. Now, maybe there'll be times that I stumble. It's kind of like with, learning something new. You're going to struggle a little bit. And then with practice, you're going to get better and better as you go. So with that, you know, I'm going to stumble. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to think of it like a written test. I'm going to erase some things and I'm going to, go back and change answers. That's okay. I'm going to turn it in and it's going to be like, nope, I'm sorry, you did not, that's not a passing score. Guess what? You're going to have to plan to retake it again. And guess what? It's going to come back again. And guess what? I'm going to do better this time because what are some of the things that I didn't do good on it? Because I will sit down and I will break down things that I need to do better on and things that, I did really good on. So like I look at both, like, hey, I finally said it. Granted, it came out very aggressive and I was very loud and I was like a Karen with it. Noted, I am going to tone it down a bit, but I'm still going to speak up. And you will get there. Like, it's constantly something that you have to keep working on until you get better at it. So I pass every spiritual test, period. And it's just like at school, like if now teachers nowadays, they will give you multiple chances to pass that test. They will give you open books to pass the test. I mean, I guess you could try, if you're having to talk to someone and you're like, hold on a second, let me pull out my phone and let me look up like ways to like speak about this. I mean, technically, I don't see anything wrong with it. Maybe you'll get made fun of, but who the hell cares? At least you're learning and at least you're trying. So, I mean, honestly, I say go for it, really and truly. But, you know, that these are just things that you can try. So, that's where, I pass every spiritual test. That's being Delulu, that's being crazy, that's knowing, that's the law of assumption. That's saying, hey, I know that I am going to pass this test. I may stumble, I may fall, I may have, I may make mistakes, but I will pass it. I will pass it no matter what. So it's having that knowing, that absolute knowing deep inside you. And, you know, being the eye of the storm. So next one is about okay. This is where whenever you're working through those spiritual tests, you're going to like have to stay in the eye of the storm, but stay in the vortex. Okay. Now this is where I am so freaking good at this because I am forever the optimist, like Optimus Prime. I'm not that cool, but I strive to be. He's my idol. So with that one, it falls under Delulu as well because of the fact that you kind of have to be delusional in a way to really stay in that positivity. But it's I'm gonna have to come up with a good phrase. Hold on a second. Let me pause it so I can write it and we'll figure out a phrase. We're gonna go with positive synchronicities. Okay. So just like today, when I was late to work and my daughter was driving me to work, and I'm pointing out all of these things, and I'm like, see, the fact that we missed the train because I was late is a positive synchronicity. It's a positive sign that something good is coming, that good things are coming, that, that things are changing. Do I sound Delulu? Do I sound Delulu? I do. I know I sound Delulu. I know I sound crazy because that's exactly what my daughter told me. She was like, Mom, that's absolutely crazy that you think that that's a sign. Looking for positive signs all over the place, like finding anything. And it's like, yes, yes, I am. Because hear me out. So in that same aspect of, finding the positive signs and finding, positive synchronicities, realize that usually um, when things go wrong is whenever things start changing. Thank you for the confirmation. So whenever things are going wrong in your reality, it's the world your reality having to shift to accommodate the new you, the changing you, the level up you. So, things are going to go wrong. Things are going to shift. You're going to have bad things happen, or bad, because that's the label that we put on it. I kind of look at them in a positive way. So, this is where I'm saying positive synchronicities is the fact that those negative things that are happening are actually a good sign, because it's much like how the water, whenever you have a big wave coming in, the water has to rescind, it has to come back out. And so it leaves the shoreline before a big wave comes in, much like when your like blessings, or whenever your reality shifts, or whenever good things are coming in, you're going to have these bad things happen, and you're going to have these things that go wrong, and don't let them change how you view what's happening. See them as a positive sign, see them as a good thing. You're like, oh bet, let's go. Good things are coming, good things are coming, because you have to stay in that positive, and you have to be Delulu, and you're passing this spiritual test because you're still being tested on whether or not you're going to stay in that eye of the storm, stay in your vortex, stay in that center of who you are. It's all interconnected. I know. Now, the last of it is that okay, there's two more. I'm sorry. There's two more. There's 7. I didn't think that there was going to be 7, but with the positive synchronicities. Okay. Now, this one, I'm not going to write it down yet. I'm going to wait. Okay. The next one is prove myself wrong. Okay. What I mean by that one is that sometimes you're going to have these narratives, these little things that pop up that are, trying to get you out of this vortex, get you out of this whole like thought process and everything like that. So you have to prove yourself wrong. Let me write it down and I'll give you an example here in just a second. Okay, now, so many people like to, like, I don't know anybody that actually likes to be wrong, you know? I feel like we all kind of have this like wanting to be right kind of mentality, right? Right? Right. Right. Okay. So, prove myself wrong is the fact that sometimes we have these beliefs, sometimes we have these things that we think are true. Okay? Things that we believe to be facts when they aren't facts. It's just a belief. But because of the fact that we have had multiple encounters that have happened that have proven to us that they are fact, we create this hardened belief. Like every time, let's see, what's one that I had? Okay, here's a recent one. All guys want to just hit on me and try and sleep with me. Okay. Now, I had to prove to myself that this was not a fact, and it took a long time to get there. Like, it took a lot of work to, well, I mean, like, there were a lot still, like, some of that was right, but not all guys. Not all guys. I had to genuinely, get to the point where I could prove to myself that that was not actually true. I had to put myself, and that's why our multiple sets of data is in there, is because of the fact that, you know, you have to collect multiple sets to prove it, because sometimes you're going to run into situations that are going to like show you what you already believe, because your brain is trying to keep this belief going. There are like my my personal trainer doesn't want to. We're just friends. And um other people that I have met at work, we're just friends. It's one of those things that I had to constantly put myself in situations to where I would prove myself wrong. And sometimes, yeah, I was proven right. And it was like, well, this is stupid. But I didn't give up on trying to prove myself wrong. Okay. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to change. You've got to at least keep going and proving yourself wrong in that belief, not in like finding the loophole and changing the belief. Once you can find the loophole and change it, then you are perfectly fine because you've already, you know, changed it. But there are going to be some that are definitely deeper and harder. Like I can't lose weight, or here's one, food will make me fat. Here, that's a beautiful one that I'm working on right now, is that eating 2,000 calories is going to make me fat. I am proving myself wrong with that right now. That I have not, like, I'm proving that I'm not gaining like all this weight, that I'm actually gaining muscle and that it's working, so I can reframe it. But some are deeper than others. Like I said, that one is going to take a little bit more time. So I have to constantly move up through these to reframe it until it's finally in, like, the loophole, finding the loophole, and, it actually sticks. Because, like, I have the loophole. The loophole for that one is the fact that healthy food is fuel for my body. It is healthy fuel, and it is giving me, a stronger, healthier body. but I don't have enough data yet for it to be a fact. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not it's theoretical still. It's in there and I can see it, but I don't feel it. It's not connected yet. Once I start seeing more data, once I start seeing more of the changes, which I'm starting to see them, it's just going to be a little bit of a slow process. Once I start seeing that data, then, it's going to really speed it up and you can like get it to go faster once you kind of get the system down. Okay. And this is the last one, number 7. This is the last one, is that people will always find a reason to hate you. People are always going to find a reason to hate you. So why not make it something good? You're going to have people that are going to want you to stop. You're going to have, oh, hold on, I gotta stop and write it. Number 7. I like this one. Shine bright, baby. So people will always find some stupid reason to hate you because you're doing something that they don't like or they don't think they can do or whatever it may be. And so some people are just going to want to tear you down. Some people are going to, and sometimes you can't get away from those people. Guess what? That sucks. I know because I deal with it still too. That there are going to be some people that are going to try and, dim your light, as they put it, or they're going to try and, talk you out of it or whatever it may be. Don't let them. That throws you all the way off because then you're not the eye of the storm. See what I mean? It's all connected. You are not the eye of the storm because you are caring what they think. You care about what they think or feel, or that you're hurting their feelings, you're making them uncomfortable because you're growing. You are making them uncomfortable because you are shining lights into areas that they don't want to see. And guess what? That sucks because why would you ever, I heard the statement, why would you ever ask the sun to stop shining? Why? You wouldn't, because the sun is going to be the sun. So be the sun, baby. Be the shining star. Be bright, be bold, be beautiful, whatever you need to be, but be it, okay? Because when you like dim your light, whenever you don't be the person that you're meant to be, whenever you don't go for the things you want to go for, when you stop doing the things you want to do, you're not the eye of a storm anymore. You're not in your center. You're not true to you. So then all of that work has been gone out. Like you got to start all over again. You got to get to the eye of the storm again. So when you shine bright, you are being the eye of the storm and you are doing this exact same pattern, this whole loop. You're doing it all to become a better you, to be who you are meant to be, to just to be you. So this is what I've used. And this is something that I have continuously created in my head, pretty much, as you can see. It is my like pattern. It's my routine. It's my automatic habit that whenever I'm in the eye of the storm and something knocks me out, I have to find the loophole. I have to like find out, the positive synchronicity of it. And I have to like check what test I'm taking. I have to be like, oh, okay, hold on. There's something got me out. I got to look at this test. I got to see what lesson I'm learning here and reframe that lesson, pass it, and then find the loophole, be Delulu. Like, this is always going on. This is always going on. Every day, baby. Every day. Which is okay because it's not exhausting anymore. When you're first starting this out, it's going to be kind of tiring because it's a lot of brain power and it's also, reframing your entire freaking brain. So start with one. I know this is a lot I'm throwing at you, but start with one then, Find one thing that you want to be and work on that one until you're good at it and then move on to another one. Whatever it may be, work on becoming the eye of the storm. work on being able to stay centered and true and be not worrying about what other people think, not worrying about other people's feelings, not worrying about trying to save Susie over there who is having a bad day and you just feel like you need to brighten her day. Those are her feelings. Leave her alone. Let her feel her feels. Okay? We don't need to rescue people. You need to work on you. Not saying that it's not, you can't help other people. It's not the point. The point is if you're constantly rescuing all these other people, nobody's coming to rescue you. So you need to work on you. Focus on you. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you need to do. Okay? So I'm going to leave it at that because we're almost up to an hour and I still would like to get some other things done. And I was about to Dr. Seuss that shit right there. But I still need to get some things done and upload this. So yeah. Hope this helps anybody and everybody and good luck. You got this. Oh yeah. Stay beautiful and stay blessed because you are both beautiful and you are blessed. See, they even agree. They love you. They love you.